Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Sorry for the shaky cam, but I'm just holding my phone because we are in a rush. I am doing a 24-hour readathon of Sally Rooney's new book, Beautiful World, Where Are You?, which comes out today. I thought today was September 6th, and I also thought it was Wednesday, but no, it is Tuesday, September 7th, which is the release date for this book. So I just panicked and called Shakespeare and Company on the Upper East Side, and thankfully they have it and they're gonna hold it for me. So that is awesome. We can support independent booksellers and I don't have to walk all the way to Barnes & Noble. So come with me as we take a little walk up there. I can show you that bookstore, grab the book, get a coffee, head to the park, and start reading. Hopefully I'll finish this book in 24 hours, probably just stay up all night tonight, and you guys will stay up with me as we dive deep into the beautiful and tragic world of Sally Rooney yet again. This woman will never just let us live, and I'm here for it every second. So come on, let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, we got the book! Got a coffee too. Now, while I'm taking a break from reading to chat with you guys, I've taken the dust jacket off so I don't crinkle it up. But Sally Rooney gives me, obviously the tone is very different, but like when I was a kid, I was a big Gilmore Girls fan. I used to watch it with my mom as it came out on the WB, and the way they would talk, like the dialogue always made me want to talk like them. Like they sounded so smart and witty to me. And now as like an adult, Sally Rooney's dialogue always, I'm like, these people are so quick. I like to think I'm pretty quick, but not as quick as Sally Rooney's characters, but that's because she can take all the time she wants to think about what they should say, and they're not actually saying it in the moment. But oh my god, why is there so much construction? You probably can't even hear me, but anyway, of course I love it so far, no surprise. Oh, talking about before about how so much of her dialogue makes me want to feel witty, that she even has this whole thing talking about right-wing politics and conservatism, and how obviously market capitalism kind of seems to contradict with the idea of conservatism, because nothing can really be conserved in market capitalism when it kind of chips everything away. But then she talks about how nothing can be conserved because time only moves forward. And then she says, this idea is so basic that when I first thought of it, I felt very brilliant, and then I wondered if I was an idiot. And that is something I have all the time, where I feel like I have this completely genius idea, and then the more I think of it, the more obvious it becomes, that I then start to think that I'm a moron for not having thought of it before, and maybe everyone has thought this, and I'm just like late to the game, and at once I felt like I was a total genius, and now I feel like a complete idiot. I wish I could write like her. I don't write at all, but I wish I could, and I wish I could write just like her. She's so fucking good. So I am back in my apartment. I read about 50 pages of the book so far at the park, and then I came back, and I'm about to head out to the gym for a little bit so that I can move my body before I sit on this couch and in my bed for the rest of time until I finish the book. So I will catch you guys up when I get back and get back to reading. All right, I am back from the gym, and now we are getting to the serious hardcore reading sesh. Like I said, I'm on page 50, which means we have like 300 pages to go. Yeah, 300 pages to go. And it is like 6 o'clock. We got it. I want this video, actually, I've decided instead of doing 24 hours, like 3 p.m. tomorrow, I think I want this video to be up tomorrow morning, the day after release. So let's get to reading. Back with another reading update after only like 3 more pages, but I've decided, after getting a little further into it, I really like the structure of this book. It's like 1 or 2 chapters from each friend's perspective. The book is basically about these 2 friends from college and their respective lives, and you get like 1 or 2 chapters from each girl's perspective, and then 1 chapter of their emails to each other. And I really like that, and I'm really interested in their emails. They kind of remind me of the way that I talk to my friends, but in a very like heightened intellectual sort of way, like academic way, where they both kind of have the same ideology and the same opinions, but they just go on these long rants of like, about nothing really, just about politics or about the state of the world, but only in like a conceptual way. Like, oh, I've been thinking about socialism or conservatism or capitalism, but just kind of waxing poetic about it, never coming up with any sort of solution or things to be done or making a point that I feel like they haven't already made, which is kind of how sometimes I think I talk to my friends, but just like in a dumber, less eloquent way. Kind of reminds me of like a heightened version of how I talk to my friends, and not in a bad way at all, just in kind of like a self-important way, I don't know. But yeah, I like it very much so far. I think the characters are actually a lot more likable to me than most of Sally Rooney's characters normally are. Most of her characters are kind of miserable, and these guys I feel like are kind of miserable, but they are far more likable than definitely everyone in Conversations with Friends, but also most people and normal people to me as well. So far so good. Probably make dinner in a bit, and I will check up with you then. Made dinner. Ignore the mess. Nope, didn't see that. Dinner. It's so bright. I turned my ring light on, which is probably a bad idea because it's blinding me. But it is about 8 o'clock. Oh, 8:45. And I'm now on page 147. I am really loving this book. I feel like Sally Rooney, I forget how young she was when she published Conversations with Friends, but I feel like she's just really growing as an author, and every book is getting better and better. Conversations with Friends wasn't my favorite book. I read it after Normal People, so I think I had high expectations because I really did like Normal People, and so far I'm loving this even more. The characters are flawed, obviously, like all of her books, but she definitely has very realized characters. They all are flawed, they all are kind of sad, but feel like very real people and are very relatable even when you don't like them. And what I like about this one is that instead of having her characters just in natural dialogue, she has them in the emails, and the email chapters feel very organic, and they are able to touch on greater ideas that she wants to talk about and greater themes without it feeling like people don't really talk like that. Sometimes in literary fiction, like the conversations feel so forced and that the author is just trying to get across their point or a theme or idea they want to touch on, but it feels like no one would talk about that. But in the emails, it does, because it is just their endless trains of thought. And she's touching on so many things that are so interesting. She talks about religion, and she talks about, not like cancel culture, but forgiveness. Right now, that's what she's kind of talking about how do people who have done bad things move forward? Because in our society right now, there is a lot of, you don't know how to move forward in a certain way. Should you just be miserable forever? Should you try not to live a public life in case it is to be found out about? Are you to just come out before anyone finds out about these bad things to try to get ahead of the criticism? Is forgiveness possible and how it works? And talking about Catholicism a bit in this book, which I think is kind of new for her that I can remember. Like, can you sin and then just confess and move on? And she talks about that one of the hardest things you can do is to really feel remorse and to just like prostrate yourself before God in this situation, but just in general, is truly feeling remorse for what you've done enough to then be forgiven. It's not just saying, oh, I'm sorry, and then it's over, but like to truly feel remorse and try to make amends. So that's really interesting. And with all of these greater conversations, it then does come back to, in a way, because one of the main characters is an author and because they're kind of writing to each other in these emails, she does talk about, does just writing stories about love and friendship seem so trivial when there are so many things in the world that are of such greater importance? You know, when people are starving to death and poverty is so horrendous, do you really just want to read a story about wealthy friends? And it sounds so silly and trivial, but also like love and friendship is important. And so it's kind of, I don't know, it's just, she touches on so many things. I'm not even halfway through, and I feel like she's really touching on a lot of stuff, but without shoehorning it in there and making it seem, I don't know, condescending, or just kind of like, you know, sometimes you get authors putting their words in the character's mouth and it just feels like, would a person really have this conversation with a stranger? Or you just want to like put in your ideas on Marxism, but it feels really authentic, and I'm just like really loving it a lot. So yeah, about halfway through, and it's almost 9 and I'm getting tired. I might make a coffee or a tea. Hi, update. I finished drinking my tea. I edited a bit of this video so it can be up tomorrow. And now I'm getting into bed with 100 pages left. And we will not sleep until we finish. So I will probably just see you guys at my final reaction to the book. So, final review incoming in 3, 2, 1. Oh my goodness. So, I just finished Beautiful World, Where Are You? By Sally Rooney. And this book was just not at all what I expected. I really liked it. I really liked it. It was just so much more optimistic and lighter than her other 2 books. I mean, it was still very Sally Rooney, obviously, but I just feel like as she's gotten older, her perspective has changed, and it just, or just with things going on with the world, it just was so much more optimistic. Writing, of course, is so good. She's just gotten better as with each book that comes out. But overall, I really loved it. And yeah, just not what I expected. And I feel good. I don't feel like totally devastated after reading a Sally Rooney book. What is happening? But yeah, I am going to sleep and I'm going to mull over this book more, and I'm sure in my next wrap up or maybe just a full review, I will go into more of my thoughts after a few days of actually thinking about it more. But overall, 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. I am feeling really good about it. And I highly recommend, if any of you have read this yet, or when you finally do, leave comments down below about what you thought. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I'm going to bed, and I hope you have a great day. Like this video for me, please, if you enjoyed any of it. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see me read more books and poorly articulate how I feel about them. And I will see you next time.